Hey guys, let's get more news about Dallas, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Pro Bowl RB makes signing pitch to Jerry Jones. Come inside the star with your Dallas Cowboys with our rumor and roster tracker, news, injury updates, and the latest buzz. October 19th, what Leonard wants. The Dallas Cowboys are not planning any massive moves ahead of the November 5th NFL trade deadline. But that's not stopping Cowboys fan Shaquille O'Neal from trying to make a plea to owner Jerry Jones. As the Cowboys work through their bye week with a 3-3 record, they are currently sitting in the basement of the NFL with an average of just 77.2 rushing yards per game. So NBA icon Shaq, on a recent episode of The Big Podcast with Shaq, was joined by free agent running back Leonard Fournette, and then came the push. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones. It's me, your boy, Shaq. Look at him, Fournette, looking good, six-pack. He's ready to go, O'Neal said. All right, Jerry Jones? Stop messing around. And what does Playoff Lenny say about this? Fournette made his point by stating his age. Facts, he said. I'm still 29. October 16th minor. If you are looking for the Cowboys front office to make blockbuster moves ahead of the November 5th trade deadline, you must be a new reader to cowboyscountry.com. Welcome. And, welcome to reality, as the Wednesday roster move is about somebody named Jalen Dalton, 27, is a former undrafted free agent of the Chicago Bears in 2019 who has bounced around in the NFL and in the minor leagues with the Seattle Sea Dragons and the San Antonio Brahmas. The North Carolina product will join the practice squad, replacing cut defensive tackle Phil Hoskins. October 13th, skip him. The Dallas Cowboys were crushed on Sunday by the Detroit Lions by a score of 47-9 in a game in which $60 million QB Dak Prescott is naturally going to take a great deal of blame. Prescott offered up his worst performance of the season, throwing for just 178 yards with 2 interceptions in the loss. In the late going, the Cowboys pulled Dak to the safety of the bench and backup Cooper Rush came in for the fourth quarter. And it was about then when fake die-hard fan Skip Bayless tweeted that Dallas should make one more QB move. Put in Trey Lance. Bayless wrote on X. The problem? That's against NFL rules. Lance is the emergency third QB and can therefore only enter the game if the 2 guys ahead of him are injured. There are millions of real NFL and Cowboys fans who know this. And then there is the fraudulent cockroach who continues to con his shrinking audience, Skip Bayless. October 9th, tryouts and moves. The Cowboys on Tuesday hosted 7 street free agents here at the Star, including former TCU QB Max Duggan, and in the end are making a trio of moves as a result. Cowboys predicted to add record-setting gamebreaker to fill major hole. If there is anything good to come out of this mess of a season for the Cowboys, we might not see it for another 6 months or so. That, of course, is when the NFL draft will take place, and a break from finishing 12-5 and flopping in the playoffs could give Dallas the chance to add an impact player with a higher pick. The Cowboys still are 3-3, which is not that bad a position to be in, but they face the 7th toughest schedule the rest of the way, and the nature of their losses, 2 major blowouts at home, and a third that was a blowout until a fruitless fourth-quarter rally, suggest that this is not a team that is heading into an upswing. Dallas could yet make the playoffs, and the NFC East is by no means out of reach. The Commanders are off to a good start, but they're only 1 game ahead of Dallas, and the Eagles are flailing almost as badly as the Cowboys. The Giants have been better, but they're still the Giants. But it'd be nice to be in position to draft a game-changer next year. And this week on ESPN.com, the Cowboys were predicted to land that game-changer, Boise State's Ashton Jeanty. In case you've missed it, Jeanty has been the most dominant running back in college football this season, and one of the most dominant in recent memory. He has 1,248 yards rushing in just 6 games, with 17 touchdowns, leading the nation in both categories. He is averaging 9.9 yards per carry and 208.0 yards per game, giving him a shot at eclipsing Barry Sanders' all-time record of 2,628 yards on the ground in one season. And Jordan Reed's latest mock draft at ESPN has the Cowboys picking Janty at number 15. How Reed sees it, Janty is off to a historic start to the season, with the second most rushing yards, 1,248, and touchdowns, 17, through 6 games in the past 20 FBS seasons. He has 841 yards after contact, first in the FBS and 255 more than the next best rusher. The stats speak for themselves, and Janty would be an instant boost for the Cowboys as a runner and a receiver out of the backfield. Perhaps the only unfortunate aspect to the possibility of a Janty-Cowboys union is that Janty, a favorite for the Heisman Trophy, is not already in Dallas. The Cowboys have the worst running game in the NFL, last in the league in yards per game, 77.2, and having put up only 2 rushing touchdowns. The running back room of Ezekiel Elliott, Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn has been a major, but predictable, disappointment. A change is needed, and perhaps the Cowboys will make a trade in the coming weeks to at least patch up the brutal results. But getting Janty would bolster the offense, even if not until 2025. As NFL Draft Buzz's scouting report on him reads, Janty has elite vision and anticipation, consistently finds and exploits gaps before they fully materialize. Rare combination of burst and long speed, can take any touch to the house from anywhere on the field. Gamebreaker who elevates his play in crucial moments, put the team on his back mentality. Cowboys trade for much-needed RB help in latest proposed deal. The Dallas Cowboys are embroiled in a ton of drama and chaos during their bye week. After one of the worst home losses in franchise history, Jerry Jones has been on a tear, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. While Cowboys fans are desperately waiting for roster upgrades, the team owner and general manager is out there threatening to fire radio hosts and making a fool of himself. If this were a properly run team under decent leadership, the Cowboys would be scouring the trade market to add another running back to the rotation. Rico Dowdle has been underwhelming and Ezekiel Elliott has been a massive bust. As a result, the Cowboys have the worst running game in the league, ranking dead last in rushing yards, touchdowns, and yards per carry. Fortunately for them, there is a running back who is available and would be a major upgrade for the Cowboys. Bill Barnwell of ESPN proposed a deal in his latest article that lands Bears RB Khalil Herbert in Dallas in exchange for a 2025 sixth-round pick. Herbert is probably not the sort of back to shoulder a workload of 20 carries per game, but among the 46 players with 300 carries or more between 2021 and 2023, his 4.9 yards per carry average ranks 7th. He generated 189 RYOE over that stretch, which ranked 11th among all backs. Bill Barnwell, ESPN Herbert has fallen in the pecking order in Chicago. He is currently behind DeAndre Swift and Roscoe Johnson on the depth chart and hasn't had a touch in the last 3 weeks. One man's RB3, however, could be another's treasure. The Cowboys' longest run of the season has gone for 12 yards. Herbert had 24 runs for 13 or more yards during his first 3 seasons with the Bears. Some explosiveness wouldn't hurt, even if he would only become a part of the rotation. Bill Barnwell, ESPN. This could be a win-win trade for everyone involved. The Cowboys get a talented playmaker who adds another wrinkle to their offense while the Bears get draft capital for a player on an expiring contract who they were never going to use this season. And Herbert gets to play himself into a contract in the 2025 offseason. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Khalil Herbert? Leave your opinion in the comments.